Hey, everybody. If you can see me and hear me okay, I tried to get in the best light I could in my apartment. I see there are people here already, so that's always good. Muskie. Little Shane, 10 a.m. beer. Stray Cat DJ. What is happening? Hey, Mark. Mark's Mildly Interesting Adventures is here. Can everybody hear me okay? See me okay? Are we all good? Because when I'm in my apartment, I usually have issues with the live streaming because the internet isn't that great and all that good stuff. I hope everybody's staying safe, doing all the things they tell you to do. Wash your hands, try not to touch your face, and definitely, no matter how much of a fetish it might be for you, do not let anybody sneeze into your mouth right now. I mean, if you paid extra, do what you want. But try not to let that happen. We went to the market earlier with Aaron in Cambodia. They had those big roasted ducks in the at the barbecue places, and they're only $5. So he went ahead and got one of those, and then we came back and it's like, well, I made some rice, and he treated us to this great roasted duck meal. It was very, very good. You guys should try that definitely if you're ever in town. One of my subscribers just got here today. He sent me a message just about 45 minutes ago, half hour, 45 minutes. And so we're going to see if we can hook him up with an apartment. He's going to. Let me see here. Confirmed cases of the virus here in Cambodia, bringing the total up to, I think, 45, I want to say. I believe that's what I heard on the news or read on the news. Testing, of course, tested so far has been either local Khmer and I believe they said Malaysians. A lot of them came from a big religious festival in Malaysia that a lot of people around this part of the world attended and then brought it back into Cambodia with them. And that's really the only latest update I got. Things are still closed. It's hard to get buses to go anywhere. And like I said in my last video, there were some people, and not a lot, like I've never experienced it, but people are saying that there's an anti-foreigner sentiment going around because they kind of blame foreigners for bringing the virus into the country. They're very, very scared and nervous of the virus. And if they don't have the proper information or don't have access to it or don't know where to find it to figure it out, they're just going to believe whatever they're told, which is never a good thing. Hello, Robert. Hey, Lee. We got Canada in the house. We got Britain in the house. We got Australia in the house. We got America in the house. We're multinational. And we're all here social distancing. Don't worry about catching the virus looking at the screen. I scrub my screen down. I don't know if that's how it works, but you never know what crazy theories people might come up with about this whole thing. Oh, you've been persuaded into doing someone else's grass. Don't succumb to peer pressure. There's no need for you to do somebody else's grass. You mean cutting the grass, like your lawn care? Oh, okay. I understand now. Never mind. See you later, man. And what's my opinion on WrestleMania? Well, actually, they WWE taped. They are going to be having it for the first time in history over 2 nights on April 4th and April 5th, Saturday and Sunday respectively. It's going to be held in an empty stadium, another first for this event, because the stadium they were scheduled to have it at would have held like 100,000 people, and of course, everybody would be freaking out about that if that happened. So it's going to be held at their performance center in Florida to an empty crowd. Right, that kind of doesn't make sense. Empty crowd. If there's no crowd, it can't be empty. To an empty stadium with no crowd. Let's put it that way. Some parts of it are rumored to be pre-taped, and will probably be pre-taped later this week if that happens, and leading up to the event. There's speculation on whether some of the superstars are going to be able to make it, because if you don't know, the USA and Canada closed the borders between the 2 countries, and one of the biggest superstars, everybody knows him whether you know wrestling or not, because he's also an MMA superstar, Brock Lesnar, is one of the featured matches. And he's currently living in Canada. And they're saying non-essential personnel are not going to be allowed to cross the border. So there's also rumors that Brock Lesnar might not be able to make it to WrestleMania, which would really hurt the card, of course, because that's, he's a big name. It's one of the big matches. He's having his championship match. So who knows where that's going to go. But there's a lot of last minute and late minute stuff. I'm fine with all the empty arena things that have been going on. SmackDown's been doing it. Raw's been doing it. AEW on Wednesday night and NXT. They've all been doing their thing from empty arenas. And the shows have been fine. I thought they were very well put together. There's some. It's still kind of weird because the crowd, the energy of the crowd, that's really important, I think, to the sports entertainment. The superstars getting the big pops and getting everybody excited. But they do what they can. It's just kind of weird seeing some of these guys come out to their theme music is playing, the pyro's going off, the lights are flashing, but you don't hear any cheers or you don't hear any boos. And you're like, what was the point of spending all that money on pyros and the music and the big and the big screens and everything for an empty arena? I realize they're playing now more to the folks at home, and that's why I like it so much. They're thinking a little bit different as far as how to shoot it camera wise. And I do love that there's some self-depreciation type humor in there. Like when a superstar gets in the ring and wants the crowd to cheer for him and holds the microphone up to nobody sitting there nodding his head as if he's hearing the cheers in his head. Those kind of little nods to the situation are welcome, I think. I like that. Aussie Rules footy is being played with closed stadium. 0 atmosphere. Oh, so I guess in Australia, the football over there is being played in empty stadiums as well. It does take some getting used to, because, I grew up watching wrestling. So, and this is completely different from anything I've ever watched. Now I watch some really, lower tier wrestling, like in, and so it's kind of weird seeing nothing, but I do like how they're doing things to still attract viewers. And so they're focusing more on people like me who have to watch it from afar or who can't make it to a stadium, or even when I was back in the States, they came through for live shows maybe once every 2 years, 3 years. And so we didn't get to go to a lot of live events. But I like how they're playing now. They have to play to the TV audience. That's what they're relying on to be successful. Whether that's going to work for WrestleMania, though, I don't know, because that's always been a spectacle, right? A huge, big to-do. The Super Bowl of professional wrestling is WrestleMania. And trying to film it like a regular TV show with nobody in the crowd or no crowds, I don't know. I'm going to watch and find out, though. It is better than nothing. Yes, shutdowns. I'm not real sure what's going on with the shutdowns. There are bars that are open. There are advertising. There are establishments down on Pub Street and Sucksand Road over by Pub Street that are open and happening. But then there are some that are just shut down. I don't know. The letter I got from the U.S. Embassy simply stated that the government is randomly, and there's no schedule, there's no set criteria apparently, but they're just randomly closing down bars and nightclubs and venues. And a lot of those are where they find a large group of expats and foreigners hanging out. Because like I said, they kind of blame us for bringing the virus in. And so they're closing down venues where a large number of expats might be hanging out. But there seems to be no like one rule for every single bar, every single club. People report from Pub Street every night. They're saying, hey, this bar is open, this bar is open. There's no customers hardly, but they're open if you want to come down. While others were told you have to shut your doors. I believe it was March 17th or 18th, and can't open back up until further notice. There was also something today I did, and the thing is, I don't know what happened. I didn't hear about it on any of the expat forums, so I don't think it was virus related, because that would have spread, I think, quickly around social media. But I got a word that there was a section of Sucksand Road that the police had barricaded off, and they weren't letting anybody leave, and they weren't letting anybody else come in. Now, what the reason for that is, I don't know. It was never explained to me. But when it was first mentioned, everybody, of course, automatically assumed it must be virus related. Maybe they tested somebody that has the virus, and they're keeping that area safe until they can get the person out or test everybody out. You never know. But apparently it wasn't any of that, because like I said, social media would have been all over that. I think every time the power goes out, even for a couple minutes, before it comes back on, you got somebody posting in one of the groups, hey, my power just went out. Anybody else? You know what I mean? And there's been nothing on it. Somebody maybe saw a police presence and assumed it was locked down or blocked off. But I don't think anything happened. Yeah, true. It is a contact sport. Yeah, football is a contact sport. They're smashing into each other. And like Mark said here, but they're banned from high-fiving or shaking hands afterwards. Yeah, that sounds about right. And their celebration cannot include Corona beer, I guess. Even though it doesn't have anything to do with the virus, why take chances? But yeah, so as far as I know, things, there's a lot of businesses, maybe even most of them, I would like to say, or the majority that I see just walking around, and this isn't every part of town, obviously, but they're open. They're just lacking customers, so some of them might have to close just due to the financial strain of trying to stay open when nobody's buying anything. And I see that probably happening more than a forced shutdown. Plus, now, of course, the government is not allowing any new visas for anybody coming from 6 different countries, including the United States. So until that whole issue is done with, I don't see the financial situation for these businesses increasing or being better anytime soon until this madness is all taken care of. Oh, yeah. Mark's talking about the consistency of the shutdown rules in Cambodia, and there seems to be none. They make official announcements. It's all posted on Facebook. Somebody translates it, and it said all karaoke bars, nightclubs, museums, and cinemas were all of them were supposed to be closed in the town of Siem Reap. And but like I said, that hasn't happened. There are still nightclubs and bars open all over. Still advertising, still trying to get people to come in. Around to handing notices to each and every business that falls into one of those categories. Because until they get the notice, I guess they don't have to close down. Well, that's why I said, yeah, you want to close me down because I'm a bar? Well, overnight I'll just change from a bar to a restaurant. I'll just be a place that serves food and, oh, look at this. We also happen to have alcohol, right? You're not shutting down restaurants, you're shutting down nightclubs. But yeah, I agree. There should be some kind of a consistency. Oh, thank you, Robert. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wrote that book. Like I said, I wanted to make it, some people are complaining, well, man, you want $10 for this book that's only like 43 pages long. And I know we live in an Amazon world where you're getting novels for 99 cents and stuff. I have a whole thing about that deal too, which is why I'm not using Amazon anymore. But still, the thing is, it's not about the length of the book, it's about the information. And what I did, I could have made that book, a couple hundred pages if I would have just had a lot of filler content, told you a lot of stories, added different things. But I didn't want to do that because I just wanted to make a book or a guide, like here's the steps you can take, starting from before you leave your country to move to Cambodia if you want to live, to teach English, or retire. And then put resources at the bottom, so if something I didn't answer, you have options to go look and you know where to look. And that was my only goal with that book. But thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I miss the gaming. Yeah, sometimes I always miss the gaming, But my buddy Luke, who lives right down the road, he's got his PS4, I believe it is, and he bought himself a TV, and he's got that hooked up. And he's got some games. He said if I wanted to come down and play, I could. So I guess I always had that option if I wanted to, if the urge gets too strong. But mainly, I don't miss it. Like I said, there's a lot of things I thought I would miss, a lot more than I actually do, if that makes sense. I thought for sure, because my whole life centered around TV and video games. That was about all I did back home. I thought for sure those two things would be like things that would drive me mad when I got here because I didn't have them or couldn't do them in the same capacity. And yet it really hasn't been that bad. There are times I'm sitting around, I get bored and go, I'm not finding nothing on YouTube. My internet's not strong enough to run this streaming service where I watch movies and TV shows, so I can't do that. I wish I had an Xbox so I could just pick up a game and play for an hour or two, but it's not an overwhelming urge. You have to excuse me here. I got on my baggy shirt and I'm a little bit sweaty. Sure, why I'm trying to keep my arms down, because trust me, under there, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's like a swamp under there. Say hello. Hello. But I do miss it sometimes. As I mentioned, there's not a lot of games you can run on a Chromebook, phone, that kind of thing. Right now you can download Linux, and they made it a lot easier to do that in the last couple of updates to the Chrome OS. You can download Linux, and then from there, there are certain like higher tier games you can play. But I don't think I have the internet for any of that. So I just stick with what I have. I don't play a lot of games. Usually if I get bored, I'll just start writing. I got, let me see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 different stories I've already started for my next book called Peanut Butter and Pizza. And these are all fictional stories and different genres. And I've already started 5 of them. So I've always got something to work on. Like, I know where the characters are going here. I want to work on this story, write 3,000, 4,000 words maybe. And sometimes I'll get stuck on the other story, put that aside until something clicks in my brain. I'll go back to this one, that kind of thing. If I lived in Siem Reap for 2 months. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is a great place to live. Yes, I think so. Of course, as I said, Cambodia is not for everybody. And I try to tell people that. I mean, as excited about it as I am not an advocate, and I'm not a salesperson trying to get people to move here because I like it so much. I can just present the information I have based on my experience and how I personally feel. But even in my book, I said, the good and the bad. Here's some things that if you're this kind of person, you might not want to move to Cambodia. Because there are certain personality types of people, I think, that will find it very, very difficult, and it will probably not be enjoyable for them. And I wanted to be sure to put those in there, put those in the book, just to let people know I don't get commissions when people move over here on my recommendations, nothing like that. The government's not paying me to shill for Cambodia. I just do it because I like it so much. Despite all the problems, despite all the bad things, in my opinion, the good things outnumber the bad things by a lot, by a huge margin. But you never know. Now with this whole virus thing going on, and government's getting a little, getting a little crazy, and coming up with these things that really aren't going to help the virus, but stop spreading, but just giving their people the illusion of safety so they can look like a productive government organization, that kind of thing. You never know. I mean, the American embassy is trying to get information from the Cambodian government. There are some Americans over here that came off a cruise ship that they're not being allowed to see, I guess, right now. And so the Cambodian government and the U.S. embassy are kind of like bickering over what to do about that. Some people on that ship tested positive for the virus, but so far none of the Americans have, but they're still being kept in quarantine in Kampong Cham at an old abandoned hotel that, according to this American, take our temperature and blood pressure twice a day and give it to a guy, and we can't see anybody, so they might have a point. But, the only real source of information you get here as a foreigner is from your embassy. And so in that line of communication is shut off for them, you're just kind of left to wallow in whatever you can find out online and take it with a grain of salt and believe it or disbelieve it at, whatever you decide to do. Oh, are there any businesses you can see that have somehow avoided the downturn in Siem Reap? Can't think of any right off bat, but like I said, there are many, many that are open that I thought, smaller businesses that I thought, well, they're probably going to be closed in the first week of all this, shutdown stuff. And yet they're still operating. There's always going to be a demand for certain things. So if you do have a bar that's not on the lockdown list, you're certainly going to get probably a lot more business than you would have otherwise. Everybody's avoiding Pub Street. Nobody knows for sure which bars are shut down, which clubs you can go to. And yet all the smaller bars, like even the one on my road, the Star Bar over by Wat Den Nek, they're advertising more than they usually do, which is a good thing. It's very smart business-wise, financially. They're advertising saying, hey, we're open. We don't have to close down. Come to happy hour. We're going to have some live music. We're going to do this. So I'm pretty sure for businesses that are suffering, there are others who are doing something maybe a little different that are probably doing well. But all the little restaurants and everything, you don't see as many I've noticed that there's not as many street vendors as there once was, but these are these aren't even mom and pop stores, the street vendors. Those are just, a guy bought this movable kitchen, attached it to his motorbike, and just stops wherever he can make a buck to make some noodles or something. So it makes sense that these guys are probably do a little less business, I would think. I will not get a PS4 here. No, I will not. I'm not going to buy a gaming system here. At least not right away. First, I should buy a TV. That spot, you can't see it, but that spot over there where the TV is supposed to be, put on, the little post thing, what do you call it, the mount that the TV should go on, still empty. Been empty since I've been here. Don't have a TV, so don't really buy a gaming system. I can't say never, but especially now with the uncertainty of what's going to happen. Like I said, governments do this, right? Back and forth, back over here. And all the people that are already over here, we're just going to kick them out. How about that? And it has nothing to do with the people. It's just the guys at the top with their self-inflated egos. So you never know. Travel light, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I would hate to buy something like an Xbox One or a PS4 and then, 3 weeks later, all American citizens have to leave the country, and then, can't carry that on a plane. Certainly not going to put it in my luggage, so that would be a waste. I have not had durian ice cream. I've had lotus seeds, not out of the pods though. But the lotus is very good. I'm not a fan of durian at all. No, durian. Durian. Durian.
Oh, Korean?
Yeah. Ooh, stinky fruit. Ooh, stinky.
I love you.
I'm not a fan of durian at all.
So Korean.
The things I don't like here are durian, pearl and that's about it, really. I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head. But those two things, I'm just kind of like, there's enough stuff here to eat that doesn't smell like hot trash. My opinion. I know a lot of people love it, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, for me, I think I'll just go get a bowl of noodles instead. Oh, yeah, I know how to drive a car. Yep. I was driving way before I even had a license because I'm old, and back in that day, it wasn't considered a big deal. Your mom or dad took you out and taught you how to drive. And the excuse they always used was, because when I get old, I'm gonna have you take me to the grocery store and all my hospital visits and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been driving since I was like 15. Oh yeah, I know you do, Robert. Yep, he loves the durian ice cream. Now, it might not be so bad in ice cream, actually, come to think of it. If I do try it next time, it'll probably be in ice cream form. That might be more palatable. But I'm not a food snob or anything. Those, like I said, out of everything I've tried since I've been here, only the durian and the pearl hawk are the only things I can say I'm not a big fan of. I mean, there have been certain restaurants where I'm like, I didn't think it was a good value, or the food was just, no reason to go back. But I didn't hate it. I'm not avoiding it because of the taste or quality. Just maybe I thought it was a little bit network for a long time, almost since its inception. But like a lot of other things I had, when I decided I was going to move over here, I needed to save money, so I just started getting rid of all those things, subscriptions to things that were automatically coming out of my bank account every month to save money. And WWE Network was one of them. It was a good value though, $10 a month, and you get all their previous programming plus all the pay-per-views. You can watch the pay-per-views live on WWE Network for $10 a month. And if pay-per-views, normally those things were $60 a month. So until the network came along, I would watch one pay-per-view every $60 a month for some of these pay-per-views. So I would just get the one a month. Then I got the network and I was happy. I could watch them all. Plus all the previous ones that have ever been. I was at WrestleMania 3. That's my biggest claim to fame, I guess. That was the one where Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Hulk picked him up and slammed the big guy. That was pretty fun. Now, it's probably on my end. Robert. I don't see anything. Usually if something happens, I'll get a message up here and it'll say something like trying to reconnect or connection weak. It'll tell me when it's weak, and then it'll just shut off for a while. I haven't gotten any of those, but if you guys are experiencing any technical issues, I can almost say with a certainty it's probably on my end. Because my internet, even right now, it's the best it ever gets here is medium strength from the router. So, and that's where it's sitting at right now. Mark's getting it also. Yeah, that's from me. Oh, I do not watch AEW. Well, I watch AEW. I watch the show, but like all the other events, I have to wait till the next day. Actually, almost 2 days because of the time difference from when it's filmed in the USA and then it gets put on YouTube or somebody uploads it to YouTube or some other service. So I'm never watching it live. I'm never watching it when it happens. And then, of course, if for some reason, and it does happen some weeks, nobody uploads that particular episode, then I'll rely on the highlight shows just to get a gist of what happened. And I'll watch What Culture Wrestling ups and downs for all the different wrestling programs every week, because they go into more detail about what actually happened. And they got all the latest news and what's going on in the professional wrestling world. Yeah, I wanted to go try to find a better internet spot, but I didn't want to wander away too far because I'm not sure exactly, like I said, what's open and what's not as far as for this. I didn't want to have to walk all the way down to Street 27, I believe it is, where that cafe was where we did the last one. Really good internet, by the way, and then go all the way in there and find out they're closed. And couldn't do anything anyway. Then I would have to hurry back and set it all up here, and then I would have been late, and then it would have been even more sweaty. But yeah, if you're over here, I'm telling you, man, try one of them roasted ducks. Man, that thing was good. That was a good duck. Which gives me hope because I haven't seen any duck fat here. But it goes to follow, right? If they have ducks and they're cooking ducks, somebody's got to have some duck fat. I would love to cook with some duck fat. Planning on being back in the kingdom as soon as this virus thing is over. Oh, and I hope that's soon. Yeah, me too. As soon as this thing is over, I hope all the people that wanted to come here can get here. And I hope a lot of people that wanted to get out can get out. I guess different countries are having different issues. I read somewhere that the country of Germany has told all German tourists, not expats as far as I've heard, but all German tourists, in Cambodia to leave immediately and come straight back to Germany. I don't know if they're making it mandatory or not, but that's what I heard. Yeah, I do want to buy. Actually, they're not that expensive neither. He got, I believe, Luke his 32-inch. I want to say for a little bit over $100. I think it was $105. HD TV. It's not a smart TV, just regular, 1080p HD TV. But it works well for him. He's got his PS4 hooked up and his laptop, so he can see everything on a big nice screen. I would like to, but money being the way it is, like I can't justify that kind of spending right now. I have other things to do. Second, I still want a bike. I'm like, I don't really want a bike. That's just me. But she really wants a bike, so I'm gonna see about doing that, I guess. Yeah, I can ask him. I can ask Luke what his PS4 ID is. I don't know if he plays online. Last time I was over there, he was playing Just Cause 3. If you know the game Just Cause. Open world, over the top action adventure game. Lots of explosions, lots of guns, shoot 'em up. I like the Just Cause series. I think it's a fun game. But I believe he was playing offline. I don't know if he plays online, but I'll get his ID. And I'll let you know if he wants to hook up. He's in the same situation I am because his the apartment building down the road, he has the same. I mean, they have the same internet service as we do, and he experiences the same lag and cutting off issues as we do here. So it's kind of the same deal. Luke moved to Cambodia to do what I did and teach English. Gonna have to wait a little while now because there's no schools open until at least April 20th. Yeah, April 20th. But that was his original reasoning for coming over here. He's from Canada, so he's a very nice man. They're so polite. Canadians are very, very polite people. Very soft-spoken. Not really into the sarcastic, over-the-top humor that I provide, or that you suffer through, however you want to look at it. Nope, no beer tonight. Are you having beer tonight? I'm not having any beer tonight. We spent all the money we had on groceries earlier when we went to the markets. No money for beer today. That's all right though. Getting an e-visa again. Yeah, extend it year by year. That's the best way to go, especially if you're retiring. Get the e-visa, get the ER extension, get it for a year and every year after. It really is the easiest way to go. But I realize a lot of people aren't coming over here to retire, so the different visa extensions. There are different things. Yes, beer always. Well, your name is 10 a.m. beer, so that makes sense. At least you live up to your moniker. I like that. So how are things in Phnom Penh as far as closing down? We have a different perspective here. Somebody who's in Phnom Penh. I've never been to Phnom Penh, so I don't know what the situation is there with the shutdowns or the lockdowns or the shut-ins, whatever you want to say. And the funny thing about that is, back when I was in America, that's all I did, man. If I wasn't at work, I was at home. I was watching TV. I was keeping to myself. I didn't go out. I didn't have friends. Never went out with anybody. Never associated with anybody. It was not social at all. When I got out of work on Fridays, I would go immediately to the big grocery store, buy everything I needed for the weekend. And once I got home and shut that car off, I didn't leave until I had to go back into work on Monday, or in my case, Sunday night, because it was third shift job. And back then, The people would call you names like a lazy, antisocial, and friendless, and a bum, and everything else. And now people are doing the same thing, but because there's to us heroes for doing the same thing I did for. Oops. See, I'm getting that little thing. Your connection is unstable. It says your connection is unstable. But now people are calling them heroes for doing the same thing I did for 30 years, and everybody just called me a lazy bum who didn't have any friends. Weird world we live in. Girly bars shut down. Most regular bars open in restaurants. That's strange. We're shutting down. Well, not strange they were shut down the girly bars, but it seemed like if there was ever something that would thrive, no matter the situation in any country, it would be places with, half naked women. Maybe that's just me. I was like, that's probably the best business to be in right now, but apparently not. Apparently they're closed. Well, that's a bummer. But yeah, there's like he said, in Phnom Penh, regular bars are open, and that's kind of the situation here. But like I said, there's no stands. Bars have to close, and which ones they've already given notices to, and things like that. So every day it could change. We could go down the Post Street tomorrow night, and maybe the same bars that were open tonight will be empty, shut down. You never know. So we're kind of taking it day by day, waiting for this thing to blow over. And hopefully soon. No. YouTube.
Ai là dùng comment kim hả?
Huh? I don't know. I guess there's some kind of crisis. But yeah, things will get back to normal eventually because they always have. They always do. Some things take longer than normal, or some things take longer than usual to get back to normal, is what I wanted to say. But eventually they do. It'll be nice to have a routine because I know when the schools close here, a lot of people come over here to teach. And when the schools close until at least April 20th, I guess some of them, like one school I heard, paid their teachers, and then the teachers were told to go home until at least April 20th, but they only got paid for like 11 days because that's had been all they worked, and they're not getting any more money. And now, they have bills, they have rent, things like that. They're not going to be able to pay. And some schools I heard are told the teachers to go home, and they're not getting paid until they reopen back up. So these people have nothing. Now, again, that's what I've heard, not what I've experienced. So take that however you want to. Temple Bar on Post Street used to play the music so loud. Yeah, they still do. I had to use earplugs. Yeah. When you go down there, especially when it's really busy, there are several competing clubs and they're all playing their music really, really loud. So maybe one of the benefits of this is that there's no need to have the music up so loud because they're not attracting a crowd anyway, right? Who's ever down there is going to walk in or they're going to walk past. So maybe they're not playing that as loud. I don't know how much Luke saved up before he came here. We never discussed that. I have no idea what his financials are. I do know he gets a kind of a better rate in Canada. I don't keep up on like a currency, but like 300 US dollars is like 419 Canadian dollars. I was like, pretty nice. Yeah. They paid them for half a month and then said, see ya. Yeah. So is she going to go back then after this whole thing is done? Or did they just say, because I guess some schools are just, smaller ones that were just barely making it anyway because of this are just closed. There's like, we're probably not going to reopen. It would actually cost too much money after this closure for them to, uh, you know, for them to afford to do everything they need to do to actually reopen and try to get students back. So they're just out of it forever. I like the banana leaf. Oh, yeah. The banana leaf. Right there in the corner. One time we went in there, we sat down at a certain time, and I just had a beer. And they only charged us $1 a beer, which was good. And then the next night, about the same time, I went in there and ordered a beer, different server, and they wanted to charge me $2.50. And I was like, oh, no. We just got up and walked around the corner to Beatniks instead. I was like, I don't know if it was a server or just the first night somebody being nice. I don't know. But when that much of a price jump, from that much of a price jump from $1 to $2.50, I'm like, oh, no. I haven't seen him in a while. Robert, connection is unstable. Please wait. Okay. Yeah, he's missing the end arms. He's down there. He has this thing around his neck, and he has books. He's just trying to sell books. But he's a very friendly fist to stump bump, whatever you want to call it. And he doesn't care. If you say no about buying a book, that's cool. Like Robert said, Robert used to buy him a meal every now and again, give him something to drink. I bought him a couple beers in the past. And I go out of my way to say hi to him when I see him because he's just a cool dude, He doesn't harass you to buy the books. He just makes them available if you want to, and it helps him out. He's a pretty cool dude. I haven't been down there in a very long time at night, so I don't know if he's still hanging around. But I have a feeling he probably is. He's almost like an institution, right? Because you mention him, and a lot of people who have been here know exactly who you're talking about. I haven't spoken to Gringo in Peru, but he left a comment on my video. I answered his comment. I mean, we speak that way, like through the comment section. Yeah, I feel sorry for all the rest of them too, man. As hard as it is for the foreign teachers who are going through this time, it's the local employees, like my assistants and administrators who, first of all, we're only getting paid like $150 a month or whatever. And now just to get like half of that and not have any more money. Yeah, that's really, really stressful. Oh yeah. I do have to say about that young kid and the blind guy. I've seen two different kids with that same blind guy. Now it could be both of his grandkids, but yeah, they not only do Pub Street, but they also walk around different parts of town here, different parts of Siem Reap. I've seen them on my streets, Street 20. I've seen them over on Wabo Road. I've seen them over by the river, down on the way to the bridge to get down by Pub Street. So they walk around, and they're not a bother neither. See, and that's the difference between some of the people that beg are just they're very aggressive about it, and won't leave you alone. They'll actually try to block your way, And then there's people like that. They just come up and ask politely, and if it's yes, it's yes. If it's no, they move on. And those are the ones I'm like, yeah, help that guy out because he's not being a dick about it, Yeah, but But I do think I believe I've seen him with two different kids, and I'm assuming they're his grandkids. Of course, here you never know. He might have just had kids when he was a little older, and those just might be his kids. You never can tell. But yeah, promos ever. The last 2 weeks, he's knocked it out of the park with his. And then he's bringing in the young gun, to set up a thing with Cody Rhodes. And I like that storyline. I like how they just shuffled it up. And if you didn't watch last week's episode of Dynamite, AEW Dynamite, Matt Hardy, who just left the WWE, just got out of his contract with the WWE, came back in to side with the Elite against the group known as the Inner Circle for their next pay-per-view called Blood and Guts. So Matt Hardy is now in AEW. And then the Exalted One was revealed for that group, the Dark Order. They kept talking about for weeks their Exalted One was coming to AEW and they were going to have this big reveal. And they finally did, and it was Brody Lee, which was really great. I missed him in WWE. I thought he was very underutilized, and I'm glad he's coming back here in kind of a starring role. He used to be known as Luke Harper back in WWE. He was part of Bray Wyatt's family. Him and Eric Rowan, they had that whole, creepy occult-like stable going on. And he's kind of doing the same thing here, except he's the leader known as the Exalted One. So they had two big reveals on that show, and that was pretty cool to see. Even without, like I said, even without a crowd, I was popping on the inside. I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe that. Oh, the milk scam, yes. Yeah, I ran into that too. I didn't fall for that. She almost wouldn't let me leave the old market when I was down there. She was showing me the baby and just saying, look, I don't want your money. Just come with me to the store across the street and buy me milk. But I had already known about that. I'd heard about that for a long time, not just in Cambodia, but places like India. When I was watching different travel videos, India and different parts of the world had the same kind of scam going. And it's true, they don't want your money. You just buy them the milk, then they take the milk back and get the money. And if they just wanted money, you just ask for the money. And then it's either, yes or no. But if there is a baby involved and that baby does need milk and then you're selling it or taking it back to the store for money, then that brings a whole level of complexity to a situation that doesn't need to be complex. You need money, you ask for money, you get it or you don't, right? You don't need to take it any further than that, I don't think. Yeah, I think AEW is pretty much killing it. Their views have been up. Their ratings are always really good. NXT, I love that. I love their storyline with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I love that whole thing because of their past history with that. And now the only difference really is that, the roles have changed. Ciampa is now the baby face and Gargano is now the heel, the big bad heel. But I think those two have a great chemistry together, and I would watch them. I would watch them anytime. If they want to put those two, if they want to have those two wrestle every single week, I would be happy with that. They put on a good show. I like it. I've also been watching NWA Power. I know it's on internet only; they don't have a TV deal, but that's actually been surprisingly good for what it is. Kind of a throwback. They have the old format of the old NWA TV show. They're in a small little arena. There's no lights. There's no theme music. There's no pyro. Guys just come up from behind the curtain. They have their interviews live right there in front of the audience, and then you just get in and wrestle in front of a very small crowd. Crowd's only on one side, facing a certain side of the ring. And then they have the announce team. If you haven't, check it out. Nick Aldis is the NWA World Champion. He is excellent on the mic. Good choice there, I think, picking him as the champion. They have a lot of other faces and names you'll recognize. And yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know if they'll ever get a TV deal. I think there's too much competition for TV wrestling right now. But they're doing pretty well in the YouTube landscape. I don't know if they do wrestling pay-per-views here or not. I know I want to say last year, or it could have been the first year I was here, 2018 or 2019 around WrestleMania, somebody did ask that in one of the groups, and there were a couple bars that said yes, but it was going to be like at 5 a.m. or some ridiculous time because of the time difference, 6 a.m, something like that. So even if I did, it wouldn't really be fun. I mean, much as I like beer, I'm not going to start drinking at 6 a.m. You know what I mean? So it would just be, it would basically just me being there just so I can say I watched it live instead of waiting an extra day and watching it on YouTube where I could actually enjoy it, pause it anytime I want, and just have beer that way. Robert, I have not had any tuk-tuk drivers take me on a longer scenic route just to get more money out of me. If they get lost, I'm sure to tell them, or now Singlai does, of course. And I think that might be the reason, because I'm with a local and they know better than to mess with that. But when I wasn't with her and I saw that the driver was lost and going the wrong way, and I was looking on my map or something, I told them, I said, I'm still only paying $2, just $2. And they were like, yeah. So I don't think it was a scam, because that's the first thing that came to my mind was, he might be doing this on purpose. But then I learned the rules, really, not a rule, but the best practice. It's either wherever you want to go, mention the closest watt or mention the closest markets, because they know those places. They know where the temples are. They know where the markets are. So if you're look on your map, find which watt or which market is close to your destination, have them take you in that direction, and you can find where you want to go from there. And that usually works out a lot better. And if they start going out of their way intentionally, don't let them talk you into it. Agree on a price, and that's the price, you know. Well, it does happen. It only happened to you once, and it does happen to people. But I think now, if the thinking person, no, YouTube. No, I'm still on YouTube. I think the smart thinking person now, especially the business owner or the tuk-tuk driver, would think, listen, I want to be as honest with my customers as possible, right? I don't want to try to cheat anybody. I want to give them, maybe because she's obviously not doing well with the business right now, and she wants repeat customers. So she went like above and beyond to show that she wanted that customer back. And I think smart business owners and independent businesses like that would probably want to do the same thing, because word gets around fast. And once you figure, somebody says a $2 ride is going to cost $10, and word gets out that this is the guy that's charging people $10, he's probably not going to get a lot of business. And especially now, I think they would all want at least to keep their business honest enough where they can stay in business. It probably is. I don't know if the Burger King is booming, but that would make sense. I had a Whopper value meal. That was last year. I splurged on a Whopper value meal. Tasted like a Whopper. French fries tasted like French fries. It was good. I enjoyed it, but it was, it's just one of those things. Yeah. The thing I found out is there are many ways to get to any destination here in Siem Reap. And it's hard. I know it's hard as a tourist, or if you're new, to figure out what way goes where. But after a while, you do figure it out, especially if you're going to the same places over and over. And you can generally, and most likely, don't let him stop at places along the way for you to go look at something he thinks is really cool, because you're going to be forced into buying something, or they're going to really high pressure you into trying to buy something because he's going to get a cut of that because he's the one that took you there. That's all. That's another common thing. Like, oh, I'm going to take you to where you want to go. You just stop and look at this gem store first. Look at all these pretty gems. And then, of course, if you buy one, he's going to get a cut. But it's going to be a high-pressure sales situation. So don't let him do that either. Oh, video is paused. Uh-oh. Okay, people are saying it's frozen and no audio. Oh, yes, Mark, I have a lot of go-to YouTube videos. I really, really like these scary ghost compilation channels. You know, 5 scariest ghost sightings of all time, or 5 scariest things caught in cemeteries by YouTubers. You know, the ones with the big grabby headlines. I don't believe in any of it, but it's great entertainment. So I like watching those. Slapped Ham is one. Chills, CHILLS, that's another one. Top 15, top 15s, 15 apostrophe S. Top 15s is another one. Nukes Top 5 is another one. I subscribe to a lot of those that I like watching when they come out with videos, just for the entertainment value. I dig watching those because they're a lot of fun. Also, a lot of science stuff. Sci-Man Dan, Conspiracy Cats, spelled with a Z, CATZ. Wally's World, he spells that funny though. He spells it with ones, I think, instead of L. I don't know. He spells it kind of funny, so I can't really do the exact thing on there. It says Sci-Man Dan. FTFE, Fight the Flat Earth. That's another channel I want. And a lot of these guys, they not only do sciencey stuff, but they also are constantly breaking down and totally destroying eating, food related. But I do like food related content on YouTube. Of course, Mark Wiens. Everybody watches Mark Wiens, but the best ever food review show on Sunnyside. I like that one. A lot of the main event Pong, I like him. Beard versus Food, I think his name is. He's from the UK. Versus something, but guys that do like a lot of eating challenges, especially. So yeah, I have a lot of. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. Yeah, I do watch other travel channels. I don't really have any go-tos, just people that upload certain YouTubers I just like. And so I notice they come up in my recommendations more often than not. Then all he does is if they try to do anything funny, he just says, nope, turn around. This is how much I want to pay. This is what we agreed on. That's what we do. And that's okay to do that because they're aware of what they're doing, just like you're aware of what they're doing. And it's just a matter of, saying it. Like, nope, go. Not going to do that. No, go ahead, Robert. Put in a plug for a service in Cambodia. Called Dust, which is all sci-fi. So there you guys go. Oh, Bald and Bankrupt. Yeah, I love his channel too. Yeah, Bald and Bankrupt. Harold Balder. Yeah, if you can see I subscribe to a lot of channels. I just can't remember them all. But yes, Robert, go ahead and put a plug in for the service here in Cambodia. Robert has a service plug. Okay, I was very happy with it. Oh, Giant Ibis bus service from Siem Reap to Poi Phet to Bangkok. Giant Ibis is, what should I take to get from point A to point B? People are going to recommend Giant Ibis. Yeah, I remember when they did their thing together in India. That was hilarious. I love that series. But remember that if you ever have to take a bus and you need to get somewhere, Giant Ibis, it's a name brand here. It's not just some guy who wanted to start a bus company and bought a third-hand bus for somebody for $100 and hope it makes it. They're pretty reliable and really, really good. And it has a good recommendation from Robert. So he would know. Yeah, I watched Cheap Charlie a lot when he was in Thailand. And then when he went to Vietnam for a while. I'm not sure. I heard he was back in Thailand, but I haven't kept up in a while. I want to get a few tattoos, but I basically, what I want to do is just get some of my older ones covered up and make one big one. Because mine are like, 30 some years old. Got them when I was in the military. It wasn't the best service, wasn't the best tank. Just like guys who were in training because it was cheaper. I was usually drunk when I got them. So yeah, I wouldn't really. I don't know about getting a brand new one because none of my tattoos really have much in common except they're mainly skulls. But I would like to kind of get incorporate all them and just get one that covers them, not covers them all up completely like I'm ashamed, but kind of incorporates them all into one big one instead of little separate ones. Yeah, Giant Ibis gave us little meals, bottles of water, and they had a customer relations man who was great talking to us and helping us do customs in Poi Phet, and of course restroom stops. Yes, I think anybody who's ridden a bus here will let you know that this is completely up to the driver. There does, just like with the shutting things down, there seems to be no sense to it. Some drivers, they just want to get there, man, and they might stop once along the way for 10 minutes, and that's it, no matter how long the trip takes, man. And then others are more liberal. They don't stop here, they'll stop here 5-6 minutes at a time, But with Giant Ibis, like Robert was saying, he couldn't hear me, but I said, yes, I agree with you that it's a good recommendation if you need to get from point A to point B and don't know what service to take. I would definitely go there first and go. I'm not out of work as far as my own classes go. No, I still have my own classes, private tutors, which is what I am, I guess you could say. I don't work for an international school, and of course, a Cambodian school. So we still have our classes. We're starting at least one more next week. Will be my students and find out what times are good for all of them to get together so we can make it happen. And that's all we're waiting on. Very good. Yep, my connection keeps dropping. I'm now at low signal, so I'm not even sure if anybody can hear or see this right now. But I'm getting not even at medium strength of my Wi-Fi. But hey, it lasted this long. I'm really actually kind of surprised. Oh, not connected. But my connection is not doing well. But speaking of Patreon, might as well end on that note. I want to thank everybody for showing up and for asking your questions. I appreciate you guys watching. I always do. Be sure to check out all my links down below. Patreon, PayPal is down there. Links to my books are down there, including Live in Cambodia, if you're interested in moving here. I have links to all the other channels I watch and follow in Cambodia that you might be interested in also, and you probably should. check them out, like, subscribe to them. And all my social media is down below. Plus, I have some t-shirt designs. If you want to check out my merch store, that is up to you. But thank you guys for coming out. And I'll be uploading another video in the next couple days. So be looking forward to that. And if you want to send me beer money, I have none. I would appreciate it. But again, all right. I will talk to you guys in the next one.